Yeah, let's start with that, shall we? Hi, everyone. Yeah.
I have a tongue.
You know, there are some days I am this close to actually doing behind the scenes hot mic for us because of...
Hey, listen, I have learned long ago to never say anything while we're recording that would be unhappy with to say on a stream.
Very fair.
And just before we got going, I was asked, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yep, I have a tongue."
I don't know why.
And an outhouse to put the tongue in.
Crazy?
Hi, V. How you doing?
I'm good. Hi,
I'm
Lauren. How are you?
so excited to finish up this mimic, this outhouse mimic.
I can't wait. Very much happy that today is Friday and it is time for our second episode of Paint and Slay, where we're painting the WizKids Outhouse mimic. Yes, you heard that correctly. If you're joining us for the first time ever for this one, an outhouse mimic. So we should be having some fun today, fine-tuning this up. We're going to do some detail work, some dry brushing, and depending on if we have time, we're going to do some seal coats, as not seal like but seal as in protect the paint. Oops.
Thank you for the audio explanation, because
I always
some
do
of us
that
were unsure.
though.
Also, your seal was really good. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. I do a pretty good chicken and frog too, but that's a different day. If we have time, I'm also going to show you some fun little kit bashing tips that we can do with these black bases, because as you can see, Lauren has the clear base. I too had a clear base, but you see that foot behind me? That fuzzy foot? That fuzzy foot behind me, I think, stole my nice clear base because she's got a thing for clear plastic products. So I luckily have an abundance of these discs in my collection, so I just grabbed the one that I needed size-wise. So I'll show you something cool we can do with Vallejo paints that are out there that you can put to use in terms of kit bashing as well. That all being said, yes. I'm also standing, by the way, today, so the equipment has moved. If you notice anything's a little bit different, let us know, and I'll try and tweak and fix, especially audio. But all of that now said, Lauren, what do we have going on this week for Idle Champions before we get into painting?
First off, the both of us are standing, which I love. We are now two standers. Very slowly, everybody at Idle Champions is just going to start standing on stream. It's going to be great. All right, next, Martin is our wonderful mod who's going to be grabbing questions from chat. So if you do have any questions or questions about Idle Champions, about painting, about mimics, about, anything, go ahead and let us know in the chat with question in big capital letters, so that way Martin can grab it and put it into the little backstage document so that I don't miss it when I'm painting a mimic. We also have a code. So you've probably seen, we mostly have been painting WizKids minis because they have official D&D minis, which is awesome. And so WizKids sent us a 10% off code.
Yes, they did.
Which I've totally forgotten what it is. There we go. It's a 10% off any purchase at dndmini.com using close the door 10 off, which I love.
I think it's
I love
hysterical.
that close the door. So
Yes.
that'll be popping up in chat. So, hey, if you're looking to join us for some of the painting that we've been doing and you don't have a friendly local game store that you can get your minis at, there you go. Get you a little bit of a discount. Also, this is the final weekend and where you can get Valentine in your formations. Yeah, I love the key art. I say that every single time.
Right?
Yeah, every time. Martin is also reminding me if you put !mini in the chat, that code will come back up. So if 10 minutes from now you go, oh, I forgot what the code was, you can put that in the chat. So yes, this is the last weekend of the event where you can unlock Valentine, and so you should get on that. I finally just unlocked my last purple for her, so yay! And yes, the Dark Valentine theme pack.
Whole thing happening because sweet.
Because Tentacle Kitty. I mean, why not?
I think that says it all.
Yeah, I think I want to close with Tentacle Kitty.
Tentacle Kitty. Okay, cool with me. I'm ready. All right, so like I said, we're going to jump into doing some detail work and some dry brushing, seal coat, and kit bashing. Got a lot happening today. So the first thing we want is you're going to snag a detail brush. We're all about the details right now, as well as your bone white. Now, if you're not using the Vallejo game color line at home, you are just using generic paints, which yes, you can actually use whatever paint colors you want. You want to aim for something that is a light beige or taupe in this case. Because what we're going to do with bone white is we have some gnarly looking teeth, but we're going to give these teeth a little bit of a glint by using our detail brush and just sort of running the brush lightly across, I don't want to say the edge because these are teeth and they're rounded, but the highest point of the teeth, which I'll show you in just a second. But we're going to do that just to kind of give the teeth, I mean, they are pretty gnarly now, but it also has more of a flat appearance. We're going to fix that is basically what we're doing right now.
Awesome. Also, yes. I've been informed by Martin that the code at the bottom, apparently I made a typo and there's an extra I at the end. Please ignore the extra I at the end. It is just slay the mimic.
I like it.
What?
Yeah.
Michi. It's not gonna, I would update that, except that involves going into Photoshop and I can only do one creative thing at a time. So, hey,
I know what I'm naming my mimic.
There you go. Michi.
My mimic's named Amici.
But if you get the code from chat, that is the correct code. It's fun to see your typos.
We're human. We are human.
Showing up there.
At least it's a typo you can live with and not one you want to like hide away from because that can happen.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So
I've loaded I'm supposed to be better at this. Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
A little bit of the bone white.
A little bit of the bone white loaded onto a detail brush. And then what I'm going to do is on the highest point of these teeth, I am just going to run a line like that.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
And everything single tooth?
Yes.
Some of the teeth that are in the, it's not that they're in a back row, but there are a couple that are behind.
Go at different angles, etc. I just had to do an interesting little turnaround on one. But this kind of gives it this gnarly tartar-esque buildup along the edges and, you know, where he should be flossing. But it gives the teeth a little bit more definition.
Yeah. What would a mimic eat in order to clean their teeth? Like, you know how you give dogs those special bones, like the green bones, so that it cleans their teeth while they eat it? What does a mimic go out and eat?
Oh, Okay, well, this is where my odd D&D influenced brain went. You know dark mantles?
Yes.
You know how they have like sow ears for dogs to chew on?
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, what's kind of like a sow ear and then dried out? Like dark mantle leather chews?
That makes sense, yeah. I was thinking more like actual dental floss. So something that had a lot of strings or I'm not exactly sure what that, it's some Far Realms monster, probably. Some horrific.
Chat.
Yeah, chat, help us.
What would a mimic use to floss its teeth? And if you can make this a pun, even better, because then we can use it on Monday in our morning meeting.
Oh, is that how we're sourcing our morning
I
meeting
think we
puns
should.
now?
I think we
I mean,
should.
I'm not against it. We shouldn't leave the morning meeting puns up to just one or two people.
Right? And there is a little tooth that hides in the back there, just FYI.
Yeah.
And there's another little one right here.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
All right. I see suggestions of sheep from Jordan71, Double Crayon saying a roper, which that makes a lot of things.
Run, Helen.
Yeah. Star Chaser 43 says a lot of strings mimic clean their teeth with bards. I mean,
Oh,
find yourself a lute player.
Yeah, my bard does not like that one because she got attached. Well, rather, she sat on a bed she thought was a bed. It turned out it was a mimic. That was.
I mean, that's kind of a brilliant thing for a mimic to do. I'm here for that. I gotta give respect to that mimic. Yeah. Yeah, if you go ahead and eat one of those bards that play one of the harps, even the little harps, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of strings there.
Yeah.
And Chromatic Spark also mentions violin players. Rylar says lute strings or lute strings, so Lute or Loot. I like it.
Strings, nice.
Hinkara says mimics eat armored champs to get teeth scraped. Okay, find yourself a paladin and gnaw on down.
Yeah. Teeth scraped. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Y'all had some good ideas there. I like it.
I'm impressed with how when this dries, it flattens out a bit more because I was a little worried this was going to be too white, but
no, it's when it starts to dry, it takes on a yellow tint to it. So then you just get like gnarly looking teeth. And if you're concerned about it still being a little bit too intense, you can always go back in with some Agrex Earthshade, do another round of that, and it'll tone it down about 2 levels.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it that drastically, you can always thin out the wash just a touch.
Just get some mouthwash for the teeth. There you go.
Exactly. I just like how it makes the teeth pop out a little bit more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Grr, arg.
Grr, arg.
Grr, arg.
I am a child of the 90s.
There are a bunch of us. Yes. Happy Friday, Alias Buck. Welcome.
Hello.
Calith Marin says, power wash them teeth. I feel like now you're gonna, this is like a mimic and a tavern owner get together. And the two of them like, hey, if I've got a really awful patron, I'm gonna throw them into the outhouse and the mimic gets fed. And then every once in a while, I'll go on out there and, help clean some teeth and everything.
I like it. They're in cahoots and they're working together.
Absolutely.
That's a good way to do it.
I think I got all the teeth.
We've done our dental work. Now we're going to have some dry brushing fun. For that, we want to go to Leather Brown, which is this color from, again, the game line from Vallejo Paints. If you want a more generic term for this one, this is a classic tan color. All right. You want it to be a warm yellowish brown.
Okay. Mixing with anything or just straight up?
This one we're going to do straight up.
Awesome.
Straight up, now tell me.
And that's all we get. All we get.
All you got. Nothing against the chat. It's more Twitch.
Yeah. You know, chat. You know.
Yeah. I would totally love to do a sing-along, paint-along, but, let's not tempt the fates.
No, Twitch would be unhappy with us, no matter how much fun that would be. Yeah. But hey, when you are painting at home, having music on, or a podcast, or a stream on, that is always a good thing, something to listen to.
There we go.
All right, what are we going after with this leather brown?
So now that we're doing leather brown, this is actually going to go onto all the wood details of the mimic. So basically, you're dry brushing all of it to start building up this weathered look to the wood and also bring out the grain details a little bit more. The wash we did last week, it has fallen into the recesses, so you're seeing the striations a little bit better. But by doing this, it's going to start lifting up the higher points and really start making that wood grain pop. as we start building these up.
Oh, very
So
cool.
we'll start with leather brown. And you can see, remember with dry brushing, a little is better to start with and then build on that than to go in too heavy-handed and then it's gone.
Yeah. Or to keep going and then realize, oh, I've just painted now. Now it's just paint.
Now it's just paint.
There's also one of those things in where I end up having to stop and look at it in different light angles just to make sure, all right, is that something that I've actually gotten enough of or I want more of?
And we're going to do a couple rounds of dry brushing. So it doesn't have to be perfection. In fact, the more modeled it is, the more weathered this wood will look. Because if you look at weathered wood, the wood doesn't wear evenly.
Yeah.
Some places are lighter, some places are darker. All that goodness.
God, the back is so easy to dry brush.
Yeah, there's a lot happening on that back.
And it's so pronounced that it's kind of fun.
It really is.
Hinkara asks, there's a special bad guest room at the inn where all the furniture are mimics. I mean, yeah. And then
that's what you get when you stiff the server on the tip.
Exactly.
Tip your barmaids.
Or you've got an innkeeper. I mean, this doesn't have to be an evil thing. Maybe this is like, the Harpers are working to take out Zentarum agents.
There we go.
And you know what? Sometimes you just got to take them out. And so the best way to do it is to get them a room.
To take them out to the outhouse.
The inn. Just take them to the place and where eventually they're going to have to use the outhouse.
Yep.
You just send them to the correct one.
Have I got an inn for you? I don't know why I just went there with that voice, but okay.
Because we're DMs and often we just have to pick a voice and go with it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just happens.
Just so ever so much happens to be. Yeah. Yeah, this is amici. Which I kind of like because it sounds like friend in Italian, amici. Friends in Italian, I should say. But with the I, it's giving it the D&D spin, amici.
Hey, listen, if my whoopsie is going to inspire someone else's joy, I'm glad. I'm glad that we can get a little bit of fun out of my typos. I try so hard too to not have that happen, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Caliph Marin says, I have a question. Are either of you going to be at Gen Con next week? I will not.
No, I will not either. There's a lot happening in the next couple weeks for me. I can't afford to take the time.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting a little bit more before I go back to conventions. Yeah, I'm hopeful for PAX Unplugged, which is my favorite of all the gaming conventions. And I'm gonna miss seeing everybody at Gen Con because the Gen Con is super, super fun. And I know there's a lot of really good streams that are going and performing at Gen Con.
Black Dice.
Including Black Dice, yeah.
And Rivals of Waterdeep. Saying, with Valentine out right now, if you want to go see the Black Dice crew, do it. Yeah. It's 1 p.m. Thursday. That's how they're doing it there.
I'll trust you. I don't know. I just remember they're going.
I was listening to it last night for some bizarre reason.
For just reasons.
Can't imagine why. Okay, so once we've done the leather brown, we're going to take that leather brown, and if you still have some bone white left, take a little bit of the bone white to the leather brown, mix it to create a lighter color, and then go in with that.
How much lighter are we looking?
I will swatch it for you.
Yay!
There's a swatch for that.
I'm excited to find out what coffee this is.
Oh, coffee. That's a good reference. Okay. Coffee yogurt.
Ooh, okay.
The color of coffee yogurt. Let me show you.
That might be so much lighter than I was thinking. Yeah. Good. Ooh, hold on.
These dangly sleeves and my swatching on myself are not going to play nicely if I'm not careful.
Please, everyone, watch your sleeves when you're swatching.
I mean, maybe the bat sleeves were not a wise idea. Alexis.
Paint, you can wash it all out. Paint is easy to wash out, especially if you get to it pretty quickly.
If I can catch it with some rubbing alcohol and blot it off quickly, yeah, I'll be fine.
There you go.
All right, so you can see here, I'm kind of making this more streaky. See how it's not totally even? I'm actually pausing as I go along, and in some parts I'm hitting it harder, and in other parts I'm going lighter. So you get this nice feathering effect and weathering effect. Hey, that's cool. Feathering and weathering effect going on.
Yeah. I'd add a little bit more of the bone white to mine.
So you start to get this look to it. But I am going to make a point on the edges to focus the brush a bit, to harden or sharpen that edge of the outer planks.
Okay.
I'm also going to do that to the roof line, which actually has two edges. So you kind of tip one way to hit the top edge, tip one way to hit the bottom edge of that roof line. And that will make a difference. You can see right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is the stuff I miss about terrain building. Was doing the
weathering
effects, the wood grain effects and the weathering.
Ah.
Oh, I'm
what is it
today.
Specifically about this? Just, I mean, besides the fact that it looks cool, like what is it specifically that
it's
you
satisfying
enjoy the most?
To mimic something in reality so closely. I enjoy that part of the process.
Yeah.
Because when you're painting minis that are monsters, you can have some license. But like this aspect of it being wood-like on the outside, it's fun to make that look as realistic as possible because if anything, it makes this part even more notable. So.
Also, ironically, here we are painting something to look realistic as we are painting a mimic.
Mm-hmm. It's on brand for the mini.
Yeah.
For the monster, I should say.
For both.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just going to go through and like I said, some spots I'm going to be a little bit more heavy-handed on that one. Sorry, I'm looking and talking at the same time. My brain just went like, look first, speak later.
It's like we're doing a stream or something, and that's a hard thing to do.
Yep.
Devil Crayon wants to know, V, are you going to do a different treatment at the bottom to simulate ground/weathering?
We're going to have some fun after we do this and sort of bring out that whole mildew mold growth that can happen when these are sitting on ground that is damp.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say pleasure. I don't want to say you've had the pleasure of being around outhouses in the past. I don't know if that's the right kind of phrase.
You've had the experience. You've had the life experience.
That's good. I have had the experience of seeing outhouses in the outdoor world, if you will. And they very often will have moss through here and mildew up underneath the eaves of the roof and things like that. So we're going to have some fun doing a little bit of that kind of work too. So even though this is a very, finger quotes, basic mini, there's a lot you can do to it to really bring out its unique quality.
Yeah, and especially the story you're trying to tell with this mimic, that can change a lot about what you're going to do. Like if this is the kind of mimic that is not like is a city outhouse, it might not be the kind of mimic that you want to have too much of the mildew and the mold on. And if this is in something that is more outdoorsy, maybe it's perfect for that.
Right.
I did do a bit too much in one place. I got a little too excited and it's more streaky than it is than I wanted.
Okay.
Let's try that again. And by more streaky than I wanted, it was like, oh, that's a paintbrush mark.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I understand.
Yeah.
It's like streaky isn't necessarily bad. See, I'm excited for this one because of the knot work.
Yeah, I mean I'm on the door right now and
Mm-hmm.
getting in and around the little moon and
Yep.
the handle and stuff like that to really make those pop a little bit more is fun.
Mm-hmm. It's the little details.
Hmm.
Doodly doo.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that.
Oh, so you're going along all of the edges and giving
Yeah.
them a little special
Yep.
attention. Okay.
Yep.
Cool, 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 cool.
Yeah. Just kind of amp it up a little bit. Turn it up to 11.
Siege Mustache says, "Is that legit?" Um, I think they're asking about berry yogurt. I buy berry yogurt. Is coffee yogurt a thing? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
both coffee flavored yogurt and I have had yogurt with coffee in it so that you get the caffeine. That's not as good, but a good coffee yogurt, I'm a fan of.
Very yummy. It's actually one of my favorite yogurt flavors. I have yet to find someone who makes a dairy-free alternative with coffee as the flavor, which my
Yeah.
heart breaks. It's okay. I didn't mean like that. Hemi's like concerned now. Hi, buddy.
Aw. I tend to be a fan
Walk by
of
kitty.
either basic vanilla because I tend to go for like the low sugar or the sugar free or stuff like that. And
Right.
oftentimes when you go for those, anything that actually has a sweetness, it's supposed to have a sweetness to it, just does not taste good, to at least to me. So
Yeah.
I want to go very, very basic. Or sometimes I can find there's a key lime yogurt that is in a couple of the brands that I like, and that's really good.
There we go. All right. I just dialed my white balance a little bit more so you can actually see. I'm like, this is looking kind of pumpkin-y all of a sudden. Now you can see the...
Oh yeah.
This makes me happy. And now the roof.
I just got to the roof myself.
Yep, we're going to do one more round using pretty much bone white with a touch of the leather brown.
That's good. I'm probably just gonna have to pour some more. I actually did a pretty good job of mixing just enough.
Just
enough
enough?
paint. Yeah, just enough.
Just a touch.
And so we're not gonna do another wash on top of this.
No, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Siege Mustache says, one thing I'm disappointed about the model is no. Oh, so you might be new to the show, so you probably have missed this. So, which is definitely not your fault. But they're asking about there's no tongue, so that's going to be a kit bashing you mentioned earlier. It actually does come with a tongue. It's just a removable tongue that we haven't gotten to yet in this episode. So
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are new to this episode, we've got the tongue. We've got the tongue nearby. The tongue is on standby.
The tongue's on standby. The tongue, I'm going to personally, because it looks like you can have it so it pops in and out if you wanted to. However, I think I'm just going to have fun with this being an outhouse mimic with its tongue lolling out and super glue it in. But
Yeah,
it is removable, so you can actually use it as it's an outhouse. Wait, no. Dun, dun, dun. He's mimic.
You can actually put a mini in there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now that I've been talking for a period of time, my brush dried out. I'm going to go in now.
And I got to make myself some more.
And again, I'm not being smooth with this. I'm making it mottled.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Which is good for me because sometimes I ended up with that by accident. Whoops.
Ta-da! On purpose.
On purpose.
Hi, Emmy. Hi.
If you are interested in some of the kit bashing that we have done before, check out the Beholder that we did. You can go to the Idle Champions YouTube, which should be coming up in chat. There's 2 YouTubes. This is the C&E one, where all of the Paint and Slay episodes are housed. There's a whole playlist of them, and we did a mimic, and we kit bashed it to make it look like the clown Xanathar Beholder that is in the game that shows up at one point, and it's scary and horrific and wonderful, and I love it.
I adore it.
It's so good.
It's
so good.
fabu. It is fabu.
Yeah. All right, and you said the last one that we're doing is mostly bone white with like a touch of the brown?
Just a touch of the leather brown.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Got it nicely around that window.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. I'm not going to go as heavy-handed on the inside just because that's not open to the elements as much. So I'm just going to do a quick run through. But it's not going to be as lightened as the front of the door. So inside, outside.
That makes sense.
Inside and outside.
Because why wouldn't a mimic be smart enough to know about where to actually put the weathering?
Right?
All right. Think I'm there. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, like that. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Nice and weathered wood. Pardon my sniffles. All right, I'm gonna rinse my dry brush.
Grepu14 asks, what is familiar distractions? I'm trying to think in what context. If you're asking about familiar distractions, I mean, there's distractions in the game. Those are the little things that crawl or fly or come across the screen while you are playing. And if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 familiars out on the field, they'll automatically click on them. If you're talking about here on the show, it's a cat.
My cat.
Kitty cat. Yeah. And they meow, meow, meow.
Three of them.
Meow.
Actually, there are 3 of them surrounding me at this point in different spots. But yeah, we have our own little cast of familiars, thanks to my felines.
Yep.
But you know, they're sociable. They're good and sociable. I'm gonna take a quick sip.
They're the unwritten stars of Paint and Slay.
Okay. And that should
I'm almost done. I've just got the back to do.
No, it's totally okay. Now we're going to go and do a little bit of trying not to sneeze on camera.
Oh, go for it.
No. All right, I'm going to jump over to black.
All right.
Hold on. I am having... What is with the colors today? This is me.
While you are color matching, Albert Nemos has a very good question. When should you dry brush versus when not to? I'm super new to painting anything. Welcome. Anything I do just looks globbed. Ooh, okay. So let's talk about dry brushing and when and how.
So the thing with dry brushing is there's really not a wrong time to use it. However, it sounds like if things are globbing on you, you're doing too much. Either it's too much paint on your brush or you're adding too much of a layer of what you're doing and then it starts to overwhelm. Like I said before, go lightly because that way you can control just how much is going on there. Also, if you start over layering, that's where it gets to be too much. Like I would not do anything more than 2 washes tops on a mini with in-betweens of dry brushing. If you're doing more than that, then that's too much happening. You really can dry brush in the beginning and go into your washes to add tints and then dry brush again to bring out details. You can wash in the beginning to bring out all the recesses of your miniature and then go in and start painting and then do a dry brush. All of this works. The most important part to all of it is that it is thin layers of paint, and you allow things to dry in between. Thin layers is important so you're not filling in fabulous details like the wood grain in this mini, because the paint is plastic. If you're using acrylic, that's plastic. When that hardens, and if it's thick, it's going to fill in your details. And the other important thing is that you allow dry time, because if you don't, that's where your paint colors will muddle together. Like if you've ever done chalk sidewalk drawings and go to wash the chalk off, you know how all those very distinct colors suddenly blur into an indistinct brown when that happens? That's basically what you're doing on your mini if you're starting to overwork it and having your paints blend together. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea.
The thing that I always try to remember that has helped me has been the whole, you can always put more on, but it's hard to take some off.
Take away, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what are we doing next with this black?
We are going to go in black, and we're going to do some fun stippling action at a dry brush level, which I know you're like, what? So you basically want to load your brush like you're about to dry brush, but then instead of sweeping, you're going to stipple with the brush. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second.
And I've been told to get a
I'm
old brush for this.
I'm using a gnarly brush that is borderline ready to be turned into a grass tuff for terrain. So if you have an old brush like so, that's perfection for this type of thing. What I'll do is I'm going to go in right into the black, and then I'm going to dry brush or pull as much of the paint off onto the paper towel as possible. And when it starts streaking like so, I'm going to take this and go into this corner here and just start poking at it a little bit.
Are you trying to get onto the ridge right here as well, or just under it?
Underneath it.
Okay.
Aiming for underneath. So I'm going to start in that crease first.
Poke.
And poke. And gradually build. So you can see there's now evidence of this black popping up. And then I'm going to, no rhyme or reason pattern, just sort of trail down in a couple points so it's streaky.
But still from the top on down.
From the top down, we're going to streak. Wait.
I mean, yes, absolutely. In this context, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, we'll live with that statement.
Listen, once again, this is a D&D stream. We are all very used to those moments where you say something and you're like, this is something that only a D&D person would say, and no one would look at you weird.
Yeah.
Otherwise, out of context, it's like, wait, what? What did we do?
What did you just say? So I'm going to go around and do that around all the sides of the outhouse, giving it that mildewing black mold effect.
Ugh, don't remind me of black mold. Oof.
Oh, that experience with black mold?
Not yet, fortunately, but that is one of the things I was warned about when moving to the Pacific Northwest, is how moist everything is and how to be careful about mold. So dehumidifiers have become part of my life.
Yep, very fair.
I would like to avoid an experience with black mold.
Oh, trust me, I'm getting a dehumidifier for my new basement because, you know, that thing is 2/3 the way underground. There's only one window for ventilation. So I want to be sure that has a dehumidifier, if not two, especially because I'm going to have like a little paint station set up down there for myself. So
yeah,
definitely want to be sure that's on the up and up and dehydrated as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm hopeful I will never have an experience with black mold. But from what I've heard, I might actually be more afraid of the black mold on this outhouse than I am of the mimic.
Right? There,
my character will come along and be like, oh, black mold. No, I'm just gonna, no.
Right, then it becomes a deterrent.
Yeah. Then the mimic has to recalibrate. It's like, okay, well, I wanted to look realistic, but now I'm just scaring people away.
No, it's not so much. All right, I'm going to put it on the inside of the door just a little bit. Just a little touch up there. Like up in the corner area. Just to make it look a little gnarly in there.
Stippling is fun.
Yeah. I like stippling. Gonna poke ya. Gonna poke at ya.
I also feel like in a weird way, it's easier than dry brushing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm less upset with if I do a bad dry brush, like that moment before when I said, "Oh, I got a streak," and I'm unhappy with it because it just looks like a brush paint instead of a streaky effect. I feel much more confident that a whoopsie with the stippling is not going to look like a paintbrush.
Yeah. That's definitely very fair. I'm actually doing a little bit more on the inside of the door. Whereas I didn't do as much dry brushing on the inside of the door, I'm going a little bit heavier handed on the inside of the outhouse door. Because again, that's not going to see the sun as much, technically.
Yeah.
So just something like that. Ew.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Ew. Close the door.
And that's a deterrent that when you get on in for the mimic to be like, all right, have a seat and not want to get out because look at that door. Look at this door.
Don't touch it. A little bit up in the corners of the door as well. Like a so. Look at that. Oh, that's nasty.
Ooh.
I'm happy that it looks bad.
It's the correct type of bad.
Like if you're like, excuse me, I'm gonna go get the spray on Clorox. 1 second. You're doing it right. Okay, any other questions from the chat?
Good question about questions from the chat. Siege Mustache says, "Hey V, do you use much terrain stuff on your YouTube channel?" Which is an excellent chance for you to talk about your YouTube channel.
Yes, absolutely. It was mostly terrain and some miniature painting. So if you're looking for a variety of terrain options and builds, everything from desert to ice to classic dungeon stuff to various techniques of painting stone to look like different types of stone, from your classic like cobblestone to stone and sandstone and granite type of stuff. Yeah. There's terrain in them woods. Oh, and there's also woodland terrain. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go check it out. Give it a look.
I almost wanted to sing the Reading Rainbow song, and I'm like, well, no, that won't. No. That's not the same. That's not the same. I'm just finishing up the front of the door right now.
It's in a book. A Reading Rainbow.
I really should. All right, there we go. Right?
Yes, look at that.
Ooh,
nice.
That
yeah. You're getting it. You're getting it. Now we're going to go to dark green and mix that with black. Pardon me, for a very dark mucky green color. And we're going to use that as like sort of the moss that's growing up from the base and working its way up.
Ah. Yeah. Also, hi, Zerjester, welcome. Glad you could make it too.
Hi.
Always happy to have more creators showing up, especially fellow mini painters who do awesome things.
Definitely.
All right. Ew, icky green.
Go for it.
Moldy green time.
Yeah, you want it to be here. I shall swatch me.
Oh, Ross is in here too. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Wow, I look away from the chat to do all kinds of black mold, and the next thing I know, all kinds of awesome people are showing up. Not that
there's your ugly green.
Not that people weren't awesome before, but it's like more. It's like more. Yay. If anyone who has joined us recently has any questions, go ahead and put question in chat in big capital letters so that the wonderful Martin, who is our moderator for today, can grab those and put those into my little backstage chat so that when I am stippling, I don't miss your awesome question.
Every day I'm stippling.
Every day. All right, so this is the bottom of the outhouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know if you're hearing that dog that's barking up a storm, but that's me if you are.
I do not, actually.
Okay, cool. Good Yeti microphone.
What is going on outside that your dogs are just, well, that
I
odd
not my
dog.
dogs, not my dogs. Nothing against dogs. I adore them. They're wonderful, but I have enough responsibilities in my life.
Yeah, could you imagine if you had to fend off both cats and dogs during this
No,
stream?
I don't want to. I don't want to. You can't make me.
All right,
There we
here
go.
we go. The fun of trying to stipple the door is trying to hold it so that it doesn't wobble quite so much.
Oh, now I'm thinking of Wobble the gelatinous cube.
Aw.
God, such a dang cute comic.
Oh, here we go. Now we got more questions. Evil Turnip T says, "Hi, Lauren." Hi. I love watching you and Trevor nerding out over the D&D trailer. Oh, thank you. For V, is there anything you would be super pleased to see on the screen? For Lauren, it sounds like more non-humans. Yes, we were talking about the D&D movie trailer that came out, and that was my biggest wish, is that there would be in the actual movie more of the fantastical D&D races. But you know, a trailer is a trailer, and oftentimes those kind of things that take a lot more of the effects budget take longer. What have you seen the trailer, and what did you like, and what would you like to see more?
Loved it all. I am here for it. I would love to see more of it, whatever it has to offer. I would also like to see more people just being flat out excited for it.
Oh yeah.
You know, because it is fun watching people get giddy about it and eager for something, and you know, seeing other people be supportive of it. That would be cool
Yes.
too.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I tend to I don't go into movies sort of analyzing ahead of time. So I'm not setting myself up for not disappointment, but like misdirecting myself for what to anticipate.
Yeah.
I like to try and keep myself as clean slate as possible when I go and watch movies. Now, after the fact, that's a different story.
Yeah.
That's the English major in me. Like, okay, now we're gonna sit and talk about it. Okay. Break out the syllabi.
Yeah. For movies like, you know, fantasy movies, sci-fi movies, movies like that, I have a pretty high suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, you have to do something really, really out of someone's character, or do something that is so obviously weird for the plot, like plot holes and those kinds of things. Like I can hand wave a lot of that away for sci-fi and fantasy. And so, you know, I'm gonna do the same for a D&D movie, where when I'm in a D&D game, I'm not expecting anyone to find a ton of realism, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's way more fun. I want to go in and have fun, but I do want to see more Dragonborn.
More dragons. So I did around the bottom with that dark green we just mixed. Nice. Look at that. I am also going to put this on the roof because moss can grow on roof.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to do
Let's see.
some stippling, but I'm also going to go in and blot with my fingertip a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I'm going to try and make this look a little bit more like tufts of mold are starting to grow, as opposed to the gradual starting at the bottom, working its way up.
Okay.
Because this is also where I've looked at reference photos, and mold on rooftops tends to grow more in patches as opposed to cohesive, starts at the bottom and then slowly filters its way up. Pardon the camera bump. So that's why I'm doing a slightly different look on the roof. Just a couple of pokey pokes.
Yeah.
Like a so. Oh, it's looking gnarly. Yay!
It's looking disgusting. Yay! Yay!
Did I tell you I like weather and wood?
This is fun. Well, like I said, stippling is fun. Caliph Marin says, so question, after watching last night's Black Dice Society episode, before I go on, I'm going to say, V reserves the right to not answer any questions about Black Dice Society, but I appreciate that you are a fan because so am I. Did you know what arc you wanted Voronika to take, or was that a surprise for you in the season 1 finale?
That's a very good question. So I don't want to tip my hat too much on things. Was I ever surprised? Nope. Let's put it that way. B. Dave and I have worked closely even before we started filming. The concept itself, we started chatting about 2 months out, 3 months out to start building the concept and everything like that. Koshmar is mine. Like literally, I was the one responsible for creating Koshmar, the dread domain of nightmares, essentially is what it is. So yeah, no, that was not a surprise. Not a surprise.
Now we'll just
at
have
all.
to keep watching the last couple of episodes to see what happens.
And see.
Yeah,
I know what's happening. I have a
Sir
general
Jester.
feeling.
Yeah, I have no idea what's about to happen. I'm excited. I'm just happy that there was some happiness before we have the inevitable fall.
Yeah.
The inevitable, everything's gonna go bad. Sir Jester has an excellent question. Is this a Wiz Kid? Let me try that again.
Is this the Wiz
Excellent
Kids mini
question.
from D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures? Yes.
And yeah, no apologies necessary if it was answered. This is a 2-hour stream where we have a lot of people who come in and out and in and out. And so if you do have a question, even if you think it's a simple question like that was probably answered, go ahead and put that in the chat, because for every person who puts a question like that in the chat, there are at least 10 people who are lurking and working. Hi, I know you're there. I appreciate you.
Hello.
Who are happy that you asked that question because they were thinking the same thing.
Oh,
All right,
absolutely.
what's next?
Now we're going to go for Goblin Green, which if you're looking for a generic paint color, this is more of a light olive green is a good way to describe it. So get yourself a lighter olive green tone. Or if you wanted to, you could always lighten this up with a beige if you're working from a darker green, which is sort of like a classic emerald green. So we'll go in with Goblin Green and kind of do the same thing.
More Stippling?
More Stippling. But go a little bit lighter. Not as heavy as you have been.
And just the Goblin Green alone, we're not adding anything to it?
Nothing to it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And where are we going with this?
So this, we're still going to put it around the base area. And kind of mimic where we were, no pun intended, with the green before, but be more sparse with it, because this essentially is acting like its own version of highlighting that mossy area.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. See, I'm going to call it quits right there. I'm happy with that.
This is answering the question, how do you dry brush stippling?
You just do a lighter round.
Yeah. Bay Neon has a very fun question. If you were asked to do a cameo in the D&D movie, would you prefer a physical role or do a voice of a CGI character? I know what my answer is immediately.
I go voice.
You do a voice?
Yeah.
Any idea of what kind of character you would want to do a voice for?
Really anyone they kind of had in mind. I enjoy exploring a variety of personalities, whether it's, an NPC or a big bad evil guy or gal or group.
I agree on the absolutely doing a voice. Partially because I would love the chance to play one of those non-human characters, and if that's the case, I'm being a voice actor if I'm playing that character. And partially because that's where I feel more confident as of doing voiceover and voice acting than I do full-on acting. And so I think I would have more fun with that. But definitely voiceover so that I could be a kobold. I could be the kobold I always wanted to be.
I love it.
And Devil Crayon says, question that is a comment. Lauren, you'll be pleased to hear Orkira is currently soloing Avarice. What? Okay, you got Orc Hero working in the game all by herself. All by herself. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna do.
right. My brain did go there.
Yeah.
I'm like, all by myself.
Well, hey, I'm glad that all you need.
There you go.
It'd be nice to have some friends. I'm more of a support or destroy everything kind of one or the other, but glad to help.
Now,
There you go. That's why.
now I have a couple songs in my head from just that interaction. All
That's
by
why
myself, cause you
I would
gotta
100%
have
have to be.
friends.
Aw.
That's a mashup.
Oh, I just leaned too hard into that and I stippled pretty hard, but I'm okay with it. Whoops.
All right. Also gonna do that over the other bit of green on the roof. But that takes care of this weathering effect.
Yeah. That's okay. The mold on the inside of the door is just a brighter shade of green. That's all.
Actually, let me get that.
It's interesting. So my camera is not amazing for the minis. And usually what happens is I can't see a lot of the detail.
It's picking up the face. My goodness.
It's picking up. So when I just look at it in my light, the green, all of the green that we've done and the black is much more faded. So there's something about this and this light.
Same thing is happening to me.
Up a lot more. I don't know if my camera is just doing a better job of showing off details, or
mine was doing that too with the color. Like it was just like color. So that's why I was trying to toggle it so it was a little bit closer to what I'm seeing with the naked eye.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at it.
No,
I'm not mad at it because I like the
I'm not mad. I'm happy.
Oh, my door wants to stay closed. Okay.
No.
There we go.
Well, speaking of door and staying closed, I now want to go in and do the hinge work. Now, this is where it gets to be important on how you paint these. What you don't want to do is apply your paint to go across the hinges. If you do that, you're going to start sealing your hinges. So what we're going to do, and I'm not going to do this with paint yet, I'm going to show you the brush motion first. We're actually going to paint these in 1, 2, 3 individual pieces. So we'll paint this upper portion, and then we'll do the middle portion, and then we'll do the bottom portion. By painting it that way, you're reducing the risk of the paint going into the hinge grooves, and then it won't do anything.
And I imagine at this point, we're using a very, very small amount of paint.
Yeah, I'm a very small amount. Pardon me, I have like a case of the hiccups today. I'm going to switch to a different brush. Still a detail brush, it's just one I prefer better.
And what are we going in with?
Black.
Just straight on black?
Yep, we're back in black.
Are we seriously seeing a door and painting it black?
Da, 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 da.
This has been the culmination.
So long for that.
37 episodes, and we finally get to paint a door black. I'm so here for this.
I honestly, I giggled when I was writing my notes because if you've watched us long enough, you know I jokingly da 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 whenever we start painting something black.
Every time. It's amazing. I'm so happy right now. And is this painting the whole hinge, or are we just trying to do a highlight?
We are painting the whole hinge, but again, the point is to paint each individual section at a time.
Okay.
To keep that from getting too... I don't know why I went Swedish chef in my brain. I'm like, borked up.
I mean, borked is a legitimate term.
Yeah.
Meaning, whoops, something went wrong. So I'm here for it.
Hi, Emmy. Hi. Oh, I'm getting a lecture. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up. You're mad because I'm standing and you can't sit with us. I know what you're doing, sir.
The problem with cats. When suddenly you're out of their reach. Mama? Although I've been watching some people play that Stray game, and it looks like there's nothing actually out of reach of a cat.
No. No, these guys will jump up onto the top of the kitchen cabinets. Rory manages to go from ground to countertop to cabinet top. I don't know how she does that. I swear she's got springs in her legs.
Yeah, because it's funny. I've been watching some playthroughs of that and some people playing it, and every once in a while there's a leap in there that I have a moment where I'm like, is that really what? I mean, once again, realism in a game about playing a cat. And no, it's okay. It's okay. But everyone that I've talked to who has cats, they're like, no, that's absolutely, 100%. 100% could make that jump. No problem.
What?
100% would jump again.
Mm-hmm. Why are you so frantic, Hem? Hemingway.
For those that are wondering, Hemingway is the name of one of her cats.
Yes.
Just if it wasn't clear.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, there's something up here. Don't you know? Go up here. That.
Does Hemingway have a full 3 name, first, middle, and last name that you can use?
No, he does not have a full 3 names. Rory does.
That's how you know someone is serious.
Yeah, it's Aurora Sassafras. Last name I'm not going to share.
I mean, it's like the emu that is
right,
TikTok
Emmanuel
star right now. Emmanuel, the emu.
Yep.
I don't remember what Emmanuel's full name is, but yeah, I do remember
yeah.
one of those videos of just like her using the full name, and that emu immediately went,
"I'm in trouble."
Yep. It knew.
My third name's in there.
Oh, and Trevor is swapping out with Martin so that lunch breaks can happen. So thank you, Martin. And now Trevor is joining us for moderation duties. So if you do have any questions, as we have the second half of our show coming up, go ahead and put those in chat with big question in capital letters so that Trevor can grab it and put it into the backstage chat as I work on hinges.
Say hi.
As I become hinged.
Your job is to say hi now. Can you wave hi?
I'm trying to show off my hinges, and I shouldn't because there's a cat on screen. I mean...
No, it's fine.
No, I love it. I love it. I am the first to say, I will not be able to hold up to the cuteness of a cat.
The floof. You can't handle the floof.
Nope. I mean, that's why my hair is this short.
Oh, it was well done. Well done.
You know, I don't have a lot of pictures from when I was young because, you know, some of us grew up in the age before cell phones.
I am the same way. Yeah.
And that is both a blessing and a curse. Like, I consider it a bit more of a blessing nowadays because I actually feel bad for children growing up now with cell phone pictures and where, like, pictures just last forever because, no, that would be horrific. But it does mean I don't have that many from when I was young. But yes, when I was young, I had a lot more hair, and it was a poofy. It was a poofy hair.
The poof.
There was a lot of poof going on.
The poof.
Star Chaser saying, never work with small children and animals. Or I mean, first off, W.C. Fields is right. Or do work with them and just be ready to be the second string.
Mm-hmm.
Just be ready to be backup to the children and or the animals.
I mean, on some of my YouTube channel videos, there are bloopers at the end. Which have either the cat's doing something or off screen, you know, you might hear a little voice doing something.
Oh, Manic Clown says, you said it, Lauren, I had a mullet for 4 years. Listen, if you were alive in the 80s, and or lived in Canada at any point, yes, 100%. That was the thing. If you were alive in the 80s in Canada, you were practically required to have a Gretzky. Right? I mean, you just had to.
That or like the rat tail. Remember the rat tails? It was the buzz cut and then the long strip of hair.
Yeah, like...
The braid. It'd be braided usually.
I never understood that. It was also a thing, you know what, we all have had times in our lives where there was something that was fashionably popular that we look back on and go, what was I even thinking? What was I doing? And it's okay. It's all right.
I need more black.
Chairman POW says it was a government issued mullet rat tail. Oh, and Sir Jester says the same thing. Can confirm about the 80s. I was a child with a mullet. I got better.
Yes.
You know what? It's fine. We all have the.
I had like the big mall hair as a kid.
Yeah,
when your bangs like went in 2 different curled directions. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. That was the early 90s. That was the
When you
thing to
went
do,
through
is to have the big
hairspray
hair.
twice a month, you had to get a new can of hairspray every couple weeks.
Yeah, that was when I finally cut my hair off.
Yeah.
I was just so sick of the poof. I was so sick of it all, and I walked in and I said, Just shave it all off." And the hairstylist was a very lovely woman who I'd been going to for years, said, "Why don't we just go short? Why don't we start with short? We can always, it's like painting.
Take it away. Yep.
You can always, it's the opposite of painting. Painting is, you can always put more on. It's hard to take any off. Haircuts are, you can always take more off, but you can't put it back." And so she was very kind and did not completely shave my head.
There you go. All right, so now I'm opening the door.
Open the door
to get the inside of the hinges. Again, same concept, painting it in those 3 separate sections, not pulling across, but along with the lines of each piece. Because we don't want to seal the door. The code is shut the door. The painting technique is not shut the door.
Exactly.
I
should mention the code again.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are playing along at home, or want to play along at home, and want to get some minis, but don't have a friendly local game store that is nearby in order to get some minis, you can go to
dndmini.com.
Thank you. I had a moment where I almost said those 2 words in the reverse order, and I'm like, that's not the thing.
Nope.
You can go to dndmini.com and you can get your minis there from WizKids. And if you use, we have a code. We've achieved more codes. So there is, of course, the Electrum chess code, which you can find in chat. There's also the code close the door 10 off. The number 10 off, and that will get you 10% off of any purchase at dndmini.com until August 4th. So you do have to make those purchases soon.
And if you're exclamation mini in the chat, if you need a refresher for what that was.
And if you are wondering what else to pick up, if you'd like to join us for future Peyton Slays, or you want to catch up using our YouTubes, let me get my drink. Come to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, where we have an entire Peyton Slay channel where I list off what the things you need to join us for each of the minis. I also list off the general supplies that you will need, like the brushes and the paints that you just use over and over and over and over again. And to be honest, it's not a lot. And I bought the same exact brushes and the same exact paints that are listed on the Discord. And it's been 37 episodes, and I haven't needed to buy anything else. I have bought a few other things for funsies, but it all has continued to work great.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear indecision in your voice.
I'm going to do a quick little brush of leather brown just to kind of give it a rusty look to the hinge. Nothing too heavy-handed, but just a little touch.
Like a dry brushing?
Yeah.
All right, I think
that'll work. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Stop.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Do you want this to dry? Yeah, I want to make sure this dries before we move into doing the Well, we got to get the tongue glued in. So actually, we can put the. Speaking of tongues, and I need to work on controlling mine. Speaking in tongues, yes, apparently. I don't know why I just shook my super glue. That's not necessary. I've been shaking the bottles. Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, you want to grab your super glue and your tongue from before. At this point, I'm going to pull it off of the putty. You can see there's a little bit of putty left around the mini on my end, so I'll show you a little how to get it off there. Trick. If this ever happens, all you need to do is take a glob of your putty and just do this blotting action, and it will pull it away.
I'm also realizing right now, if we're going to do this, I think I mentioned that I wanted to grab tweezers or something else to hold the tongue, because my fingers don't want to fit inside the outhouse.
Fair.
And I didn't get those, so I might have to walk away for 20 seconds. I know, because
Just walk away.
I remember trying to put the tongue back in after I'd pulled it out, and it was no, I'm gonna need tweezers. I'm gonna be back in about 30 seconds.
After these messages. No, I'm kidding. No, we're not. We're not doing that. But I am going to show you what I am talking about here. So if you wanted to leave this as a means to pop it on the table, surprise your players, you totally can do that because you can see this isn't a perfect round peg. It's actually got a funky little shape to it. It's, I beg your pardon, sir. It's a little key shape here. So you also have it mimicked. I didn't even mean to do that one. You also have that shape on the tongue itself. Hey, Mr. No. Maine Coon cats. They're long, yo.
And it's one thing when you're dealing with paint. It's another thing when you start dealing with super glue.
Super glue. So if you wanted to, the important thing is you want to get this little notch that is here in the post of the tongue lined up with the notch that you'll see inside. No, the outhouse up there. So I'm going to show you how it can fit in. So it's kind of got a little bit of a twist to it. And the tongue will lock in like that. So you could feasibly... Cat. Really?
Ah, I just dropped my tongue.
So you could feasibly take this in and out as you want to. So, hey, look, it's a mimic, and then pick it up off the table, quickly stick in the tongue, and then type of situation. But once the tongue is in, you can see the door does not close. So it's up to you. If you want to have this as a feature where the tongue comes in and out, you could do that. I, however, am going to have this where it is just set up to pretty much, it's going to stay. Actually, does it close? Yeah, it doesn't close quite all the way. Just because when trying to move around minis, hi Hemi, when trying to move around minis and dealing with cats, he just like totally found a way to make his way up here. This is something I know I will lose quickly if I don't super glue it in. So we are going to super glue this because to me, it's just, that's my preference for the miniature itself. So with super glue, you want to make sure you are using, this is important, liquid, not gel. Gel is not your friend with miniatures. The bond for the gel style super glue, cat, don't you dare. Pardon me while I recap this. The gel is not as strong of a bond. It can be more brittle, especially after time, because I had used gel for a hot minute, and then I found that there are minis I had put together and painted and everything like that that were suddenly falling apart because I had used that gel super glue, and essentially it just wasn't holding it as tightly as the liquid super glue. Yes, the gel gives you more control. Yes, it tends to dry a little faster. No, that is not for you. And it's just better be safe than sorry. So we're going to take a dollop of the liquid super glue, and I'm going to put a little bit inside the mouth, like a drop. Just a drop, and let that sit. And then I'm going to put a drop, even less than, on the tip of the tongue, well, the tip of the post of the tongue. And you want this to get a little bit of air on it. You don't want to assemble it right away because when you get it exposed to air, it's going to make it a little bit more tacky, which creates a better bond. So I usually do like a count of 10, 15. At this point, I've probably been talking for about 10 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Now you can put this in. Pardon my sniffle. And you'll want
it's what happens when you're like looking down a lot. It just happens.
Plus my allergies are bad today. And we want to let this set for a little bit. Okay? You don't want to do anything with this, so, you know. Oh, but I love how that looks. Look at that. Yeah. That is most excellent.
Now, mine actually fits in there so I can close the door.
Does it?
Which either means I have put the tongue back in wrong, or your mini has a bigger tongue.
I think it's also because my door is bowed. See?
Oh, yours is very, very bowed.
I
Mine is
think
not.
that's coming into play
Yeah.
because when I'm looking at it, my tongue sticks out just a little bit, and honestly, that's as
Yeah.
tight in as I can get it. So yeah, it could just be. I mean, it's enough where it can close and just sort of be
Hmm.
propped open.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Womp.
Womp womp. Yeah, I think this
Rah.
might be the Koivicha. I'm still good with it though.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want that to dry a little bit more, and then what we'll do is we're gonna start doing what I put on the seal coat.
Art, art. Okay.
Actually, we are done with.
That.
Let me do this really quick.
Siege Mustache wants to know, did you pin them hinges? No, the door
No,
comes
comes
already attached.
Yeah.
So we're just being careful not to fill them with paint.
Yep. Okay, now Podge Ultra. We haven't talked about this in a while. It is a fantastic product to have. It comes in two options, your gloss and your matte. Now, what this is, it is not your Mod Podge that you use for decoupage and paste and everything like that, like you did in, grade school art class. This is from the same maker of Mod Podge, as are some of the brushes we use, believe it or not. But what this is a liquid form of a lovely seal coat, basically. So like Mod Podge itself, you can use it to seal things. However, it is liquid. This means you can use it on miniatures with great results. It also has pump action spray bottles as opposed to aerosol. So you can actually use these inside your house with great results. Just get a big old box, put your mini inside that box and spray away, and it'll seal your mini that way. I, however, prefer to take the lid off and then go in and paint by dipping my brush into the liquid and then paint it directly onto the mini for a more even and, I don't want to say thicker coat, but a thorough coat, especially when it comes to using the gloss one, because this is going to make something nice and glossy. We are going to put the gloss on the inside where the mimic is basically revealed. So we're going to put it all inside where the mimic is, and then we'll put the matte on the wood is the plan.
Do we want to start with the matte then, just to give our tongue?
Yeah, let's do that. So let's start with matte, which is the gold label.
Do we have to
and
shake
it comes
this
in
up?
two different sizes. I do a little bit because it can settle. See? It can settle on the bottom. So I don't do like a hard shake. I tend to kind of just swish it. That's the word I'm looking for. Swish it around as opposed to shake it, because the more you shake it, the more bubbles you build. But if you swish it, Cotton, sweetie, I can't have your chonker butt up here. Nope. The real test is if chat will remember all the names of my cats by the end of the season.
Not just all the names, but all of the other names that you've called
the nicknames. Yeah.
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 All right, come off.
Okay.
Come off. There we go.
So it just lifts off after you unscrew it. Come on. There we go. You can see there's the tube for the pump action of spray. And I just kind of do that with it. And then get yourself a brush that you don't mind saying goodbye to. That's clean. Make sure it is clean. Don't use an old paintbrush with paint in it because you will tint your miniature. Yeah, you're not helping the cause here, Bubba. All right. So I'm going to dip it into the bottle. And then I'll start here.
And I think this is the first time we've actually been able to use this on stream.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we don't get this far. Yeah, like we're just finishing up the painting. It's like, well, now we have to wait for things to dry before we do this. So we will do that off camera. So I'm kind of excited.
I'm really happy we can show this one off. So you just paint it on. In this case, I am going with the wood grain to make sure this gets into the crevasses. And you just need a little thin coat. You don't have to glob it on. You know you have too much if it gets a milky blue tone. That means you have too thick of a layer on there. You want it to look clear, not like you've just put a little drop of milk on it. I'll show you what I mean. If it starts to look like that, see how it's like this milky bluish tone? That's too much. Move it around. You can even blot your brush off on a paper towel to remove the excess, just like you can with wash. But you don't want to overlayer.
Yeah, I found that that's actually really easy to do, but it doesn't dry nearly as fast
Mm-mm.
as like a wash or something. So it's pretty
No.
easy to get back in there
Yeah.
with a brush that I've just put onto a paper towel and been like, oh, I'm just gonna pick up the extra.
Yep. Extra, extra.
I also find it tends to happen around um not just into crevasses, but like on the inside of the door,
Yeah.
trying to paint in or not paint, trying to cover this in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to end up like with some of it stuck in the wood grain
Yeah.
and then just going
Yeah.
back in and being like, poke, poke,
Just
poke.
blot it
Give me,
away.
give me.
Exactly. See, like right now I just blotted because it was a little bit too much on that side. There we go. Oof, this makes me hap. I have a hap.
Yeah, this does have a little bit of an odor, but it's not bad. And we're
It's
not
not
using that
strong.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because it is hot, I have multiple fans going, so I've got some pretty good ventilation.
Yeah, this isn't one that you need as much ventilation as if you were to get an aerosol can out. That absolutely take it outside on a nice sunny day and do it then. Do not spray in your garage. Do not spray in a room. Please don't do that with aerosol paint. That is not good for you.
Nope.
Not at all. And don't get me started on floral foam for terrain, because, yo, just don't. I got a video for that.
I am see now I want to get you started on floral foam for terrain because I recognize all of those words individually and I'm not sure in a sentence if I know what any of that means and I'm excited.
So there's this foam. The brand name is called Oasis Foam, but other makers make it to the point where it's now called floral foam. And it's something where if you're in a florist, you soak it in water and then you use it to make basket arrangements or, bridal arrangements from like unique containers and everything like that. Like if you're not putting it into a vase, you use floral foam. It does its job as it's supposed to as floral foam. Notice I'm stressing this word over and over again because, floral foam and flowers, great, thumbs up.
V, would you be talking about plants, flowers?
Yeah.
Floral things? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. What you do not want to use floral foam is for things like flocking, terrain, building anything where you are crumbling it dry. It's actually toxic, okay? It is bad to inhale. And I am speaking not from, things I have read. I'm speaking from firsthand personal experience. I used to work at a florist when I was in college. And the first couple weeks there, what they didn't tell me is that I need to be careful when handling this dry because it can actually get into your lungs and create problems. So I had been working with all this floral foam and cutting it dry, opening up the boxes and shaking them out. Like things after the fact, I'm like, they should have told me this was a bad thing when I started there, but they didn't. And I got a respiratory infection, went to my sinuses and went to my chest that took 2 rounds of antibiotics and almost a month to get rid of.
Oh.
And that was just from a couple weeks exposure. And there are people who are taking this foam and they're crumbling it and using it in their terrain. They're putting it in food processors. Don't. Okay? Please don't.
Also, it's just difficult to say, so don't.
Yeah.
Don't floral foam. Don't flock floral foam. It's not.
No
it's
flocking
not a
way.
thing. No.
No flocking way. Got it?
I think we should leave it at no flocking way. I think that's absolutely perfect. That's fine. And I've also finished my outer coats.
Yeah, my rant, I need to make sure I'm getting the front of the door.
No, you know what? I think it's an important rant because it's not a rant. It is really important information that if no one told you at the time, someone might not have told somebody else here.
Yeah.
And we might have people in our chat because we've got almost 500 people in chat and someone might be interested in getting more into crafting and all sorts of stuff. And so knowing what to avoid, especially when it's that dangerous, I think that is not a rant. That is a PSA. That is a public safety announcement from your friends here at Idle Champions.
And the thing is, you'll see some people like, oh, I use floral foam all the time and I'm fine. Just, Put a respirator on. Okay, sure, but there's also formaldehyde in that stuff.
Mm.
Guess what leaches?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There's
We
a reason
talk a
why it
lot
preserves flowers.
Yeah. We talk a lot here about how a lot of crafting supplies, like the paints that we use, you don't have to use the exact same paints. You can use all sorts of paints, the brushes, all kinds of stuff that you can substitute for other things. This sounds like a no. This sounds like nope.
I will tell you when there's something out there that is really cool to use that you wouldn't think about using, but at the same time, I will tell you if something that looks really cool to use that you shouldn't be using. I'll be like, nah, nope. Okay, so I think the tongue should be dry at this point. Let's do a little wiggle. Yeah, we're good. So now we're going to move over to the gloss, which is the red label. Give a little swirl. And we're going to paint the inside. And this means like basically anything that is mimic. Hi, Rory.
Hi, kitty.
Oh, boy. And I'm actually going to start in the back, like tickle its tonsils. Start back there and work my way forward.
I may actually need to find another brush to use.
Oh, yeah?
But we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, the brush that I grabbed that I'm okay with sacrificing for the greater mini good is a little big, but I'm gonna
a little too thick.
Go slow. A little too big.
Okay.
Also, as I've now just learned from experience, when you go to put the cap part with the really long straw down somewhere, put it down somewhere where it's not gonna roll.
Yeah, you can also just leave it hanging out in the top. Like that. Kind of treat it like an eyedropper. That's what I tend to do.
I just had mine roll and it almost rolled into some paint.
Oh.
Like, no.
You see me rolling, they hating.
All right, so this is going on everything
that is mimic.
Gums.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We want this to be creepy slimy.
Yeah.
Because, mimic.
Because mimic.
Because it mimic.
Yeah, I'm excited for creepy slimy gums, which is a thing I just said. Absolutely. Creepy slimy eyes, creepy slimy gums.
Yep. No. Rory's like, haha!
Man, your
cat's
cats.
Gonna do bad. Because we're supposed to get rainstorms later.
Oh.
So they get a little bit amplified with the barometric shift. Oh, yeah. And if I were to close the door right now because, they're like, there's a storm coming, mama. They have to make those announcements, whether it be through vocal use or claws on my door. No, it's just easier for me to shoo them away while we're painting. Plus, for the chat, it's fun for them to see me chase after the cats.
Pretty much. It's cats on a stream. It's become just a thing, especially with Twitch and everything. It's just become an expected thing. If you have a cat, they're eventually going to show up on stream in one way or another.
There's a video game now. Just saying. And Idle Champions in and of itself has a couple of cats now, so.
Yeah, every time a cat in some way goes into the game, the dog people want to know about more dogs. And every time a dog in some way goes into the game, people want to know about more cats. And it's just a never-ending cycle, which I'm okay with. Yeah.
A little bit of cat, little bit of dog. Little bit of cat, little bit of dog. All right, I think I'm happy with that one.
Yeah, I think I've gotten as many of the crevasses as I can.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to set that to the side so it can dry just a little bit more. And I'm going to thoroughly make sure the caps are closed on both of my bottles.
Good idea.
Because you don't want to find out the hard way that, no, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Because when this dries, this gets to be like rock solid. I will say that. Actually, we'll see a little bit more of this put to use next week and the week after.
Do we want to talk about what we're doing next week and the week after?
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Waiting for things to dry?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so next week, we're going to start up with a treant. We're going to have some fun with this one. Okay.
I'm excited.
So you're going to want to get a hold of the WizKids D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniature Treant. I think this was wave 13, maybe 14, if you need the wave for some reason. But again, in our Discord, we'll have information.
Discord.gg/idle champions.
But we're going to work on doing this treant, who has a lovely boulder that we'll eventually put into the hand here. But I have tucked the boulder into a safe spot, and I'm not going to go get it right now.
That's smart, especially with cats around.
Yeah. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do some cool things like hanging moss and fun little details like there are mushrooms on this, which I don't know if people are realizing.
Oh, yeah.
There are mushrooms, so we're going to have some fun with painting mushrooms. Mushroom.
I had no idea, and I've been looking at this mini. Yeah. That's super cool.
It says mushrooms. It has some really awesome deep groove details and knots. So we can have some fun with this one. Yeah. And a beard that's basically kind of moss in and of itself. So yeah, we're going to have some fun painting this up next week and the week after is the deal it's going to be.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we'll be taking a break for the 2 weeks after that.
Yep.
But there will be something.
Yeah. Well, and I'll talk about it now because we might have people who are new. So the first minis that we painted on the show, episodes 1, 2, and I think it's just 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
We did 2 myconids. Well, little small myconids. Went back and forth. They were our first ones. And so for those 2 weeks while we are off, we're going to be replaying those episodes. So if you would like to start from the beginning or are new and want to go back and do some of the ones that we have, you can go to our Discord, which I've already plugged a couple times, but hey, discord.gg/idle champions. All of the information on all of the minis that we have done is pinned in that channel. So just go all the way back to the beginning and you'll find all the information for the myconids. And I'll be in chat, and V, if possible, will pop into chat, and maybe we'll have some other people popping into chat so we can talk about other things. You know, I can look back on all that I have learned and all the things that I am doing better now that I've 37 episodes under 37 weeks.
That's impressive.
That's almost a year. We've almost done a year worth of
So is it close to when we first started then?
Yeah, because...
Is that like our anniversary re-air? Because I started like technically I started on the 26th last year, so hey!
And we got this show going surprisingly fast.
After. Yeah. So
I
wonder.
Surprisingly, not like you are awesome. I say surprisingly because like you had just started working at C&E and we all felt bad about being like, and now stream for us. So there was a lot of... but... you know, we wanted to give you time. I haven't
come from streaming in the first place, so it was kind of like, yeah, sure. I can do streaming.
So we got this going. So yeah, it's almost been been a year. Oh, and I saw that Cypher of Tear was in chat.
Hi, Cypher.
Fellow awesome mini painter.
Yes.
All right. I believe we're going on to the base.
So, because we're all about that base. And I'm done there. Okay, so like I said, my lovely clear disc got stolen.
Gee, I wonder by who, looking at this cat.
Rora. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some fun and show you a kit bashing option you can do should you have these black discs floating around. If you have the clear disc like Lauren has, you can very easily have some fun. Glue that on with the Loctite or any type of liquid super glue, which we're going to do right now. And then I will show you some fun you can have with different Vallejo products that still you can find at your hobby store or online if you don't have a local game store or hobby store nearby. So I'm going to put a nice healthy dollop of this super glue onto the base of the Mimic.
And I'm going to take a moment and feel around to make sure that I'm putting the Mimic onto the correct side because it's hard to see the little, 2021 wizards on there.
Use your thumbnail.
Yeah.
So that's smooth. That's rough.
Yeah.
If it sounds like that, that's the wrong side.
Yeah, I'm assuming you don't want to go on the rough side because then it will wobble.
Yeah.
Where did I put my...
Not the good
so
kind
good. I put my super glue away.
Oh no. All right,
And
so
now,
I'm going to offset mine a little bit back. So I'm not putting it dead center of the circle. I am putting it kind of a third in from the edge. I don't want to pick this up right now because it's going to flop over.
yeah.
But you can see there's a little bit of space, like about we'll say like a thumb width for my thumb. Back from that because of what I'm going to do with this base. If you have the clear base, you can put it wherever you want.
I also like the idea of doing that because the door opens there, and so you're kind of using the base to also indicate literally how much space you need for the door. So I'm also going to put mine towards the back.
Yes. So if you have the clear base, you can have some more fun and keep it simple and get a hold of these great Army Painter Wasteland tufts or any other type of tuft grass that they have. And you can just pull a couple of these off and stick them onto your clear base. And you get this lovely little, grassy look to your base. What happened?
I hit my microphone with the Army Painter stuff, but I didn't want to interrupt you just to say sorry. So I
was like, wait, what I do? Just happened? Huh?
It's for our audio listeners at home. I'm sorry.
For our ASMR watchers.
Yes. I do also have, for funsies, because like I said, you don't need any of this stuff, but I've gone out and got a few other things. I got the Army Painter Battlefield, is it steep grass? Steep grass?
Step grass.
Step grass?
I don't know. I just call it the grass.
The grass. I got the grass. Which I actually have used on a couple of minis. I think I used this on one of the skeletons, which I'm pointing over there, even though you can't see it because it's over there. And it was a lot of fun. But what I learned is it's a little bit of a mess. Like not a huge mess.
You have like a newspaper, sheet of newspaper or paper towel or something underneath while you work with it. And whatever you do, don't sneeze.
And so for all of those reasons, because I am at my computer desk, I'm gonna go with the Army Painter, the little tufts instead of this, because this kind of gets it's not a huge mess, but little bits of it can get everywhere.
It can. So what I'm gonna do is show
I will say when I used this on the skeleton and I did it in a place, it was super cool. It was so much fun to be like.
It's really like a great way to kind of just yeah. And you can use even just Elmer's glue type of thing. Like take white glue, paint it on, and then sprinkle. Like you used to do glitter crafts when you were a kid.
Except without glitter,
you're using grass.
Except not having to worry about glitter.
Yeah. So what I'm going to use today is the Vallejo Earth Texture Acrylic. This is paint that has a texture to it. It's gritty, almost like there's sand mixed in or different size grit of sand. It also comes tinted. So here I have desert sand and brown earth that I'm going to use to create just sort of like this dry, patchy, worn out earth area around the mimic itself. Now, if you take a look, there's like this foam cap that comes with it. I keep those. It technically should sit in the cap itself, but every so often it'll get stuck and pull off. But you can see there's this texture to it. Yeah, and it holds patterns. Like I used an old plastic knife last time I used this, and you can see it's still holding the striations from the serration, that's what I want, in the knife.
Yeah, it almost looks like mud, like the thickness of mud.
It's kind of like clay, like really, like if you're gonna make bricks or something. So yeah, so I'm gonna go in and have some fun and use an old paintbrush. I'm going to carefully go in. Hopefully this is, And you can just go in and paint this on and give it some interesting texture to your base. So what I'm going to do is nudge it close to the mimic outhouse, like so. Just like soil would butt up against.
Oh yeah, I can already see the texture there. That is super cool.
So you can smooth it out. Uh-oh.
Norvi in chat says forbidden peanut butter. And yeah, I'm kind of here for it.
Don't eat this.
Don't eat
this.
It is forbidden for a reason, but that's fine.
So I'm just gonna go around and apply my first go around of this. And it just looks like sort of hardened earth when you do this. Actually, I think I'm going to be able to hold it by the top now.
Also,
Yes.
Stan Mechanic says about the grass that we were talking about. Is it as bad as glitter in the finding it 6 months months later get everywhere?
It is the ugly sister of glitter.
I'm gonna say it wasn't quite that bad. But yeah, you want to be prepared to be somewhere where if you're finding bits and pieces of it, tiny little blades of grass somewhere, that you're okay with that.
Yeah. It can get messy quickly if you're not careful.
Yeah. The good news is you need very, very little, especially for the skeleton minis the skeleton mini, because I only did on one that I did. They're medium-sized creatures, but it's a very small base, and it did not take very much. So it was pretty easy to handle, and it looked really cool. I'm very happy with how it came out.
Yeah, definitely.
But for today, we're gonna go with tufts.
It's already got a nice texture just from my spreading it around.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes what I'll even do is just sort of go in and just stipple a little bit to give it even more visual interest. Nothing too bonkers, but hey. Okay, so that takes care of using the, what color was this one again? Brown earth. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the desert sand and do more of a little lighter path here in the front where I've left that open. I'm going to quickly rinse this and cap this because it can dry quickly if you're not careful.
Meanwhile, I'm tufting.
It's a tough.
Every damn tufting.
Life.
I might actually use up the rest of my tufts.
Oh, you're gonna do a nice little grassy coverage? Oh, I haven't used this color yet. No, I have.
I kind of want to go everywhere with it. I'm kind of liking the full-on grassy coverage, but we'll see. We'll see how many tufts I have left and if they can cover everywhere. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me go back in with the rinsed brush and get some of this. And then apply it to the front.
I'm just having fun watching this because it is so thick.
It is. It's like sandy toothpaste is the best way to describe its texture. But because it's tinted, you don't have to worry about going back in and painting it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now, these are the kind of ones that you were telling us about that can do like cracked textures once they dry okay, cool.
Yeah. If you paint it in, you can even go in with a toothpick and like create a crack if you want to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I could see that being really useful for stone or other stone. Yeah. It's useful for stone. I can't come up with another use for it. Maverick 2, probably no tufts on the roof, partially because I'm very happy with how the paint came out, how the stippling that we did up there, and partially because I'm running out of tufts. I'm soon gonna be tuftless, but hey, that's okay. I can always get more. Or maybe I will use up these tufts and then the rest of it I'll go with the grass and fill in the blanks.
All right, so you can see that I went through and did a little pathway. So now it's all
nice.
Yeah, so now what I'm gonna do, take advantage of the fact that this is a sticky paint, basically. I'm gonna go in and stick my grass tufts into this while it's wet, so that when it dries, it snags it and holds it in place for me. Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Okay. So
yep, I'm not going to have quite enough to get the whole thing, but But you know what? I'm still happy, and I will just. This is just an excuse to buy more tufts.
Mm-hmm. And it comes in a variety. Like, it's not just the grasslands or the wastelands. There's other color variations that look fantastic. So
I'll kind of try to show this
yeah.
off. So yeah,
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, I got a little bit more to go, but I got the whole backside. And yeah.
Very nice.
And the door still opens and closes, so
yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get some more tufts at some point. And it's funny because these things, because this is a clear base, you can see the bottom. And so from the bottom, it looks like, wow, you what did you do to this thing?
Well, it is an outhouse mimic. I'm going to leave it at that statement.
Yeah. Hey. All right. Add that back to my wish list.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Urban Bohemian. Welcome.
Hello.
You're here just in time for the last 5 minutes of our Mimic Outhouse.
Yes. We're using our grass.
I mean, yes. Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the more I look at this, I'm not going to use the other grass. I'm going to go get some more tufts because...
you like the look?
I like the look, and I think if I change the look just for this little patch, it will be a little too distracting.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
But that's okay. That's half the fun. The pictures that I will take to put out on social media will just be more grass to come.
Yes. I like it. To be continued.
Yeah, Maverick 2. The backside has been tufted. I'd like to say I was smart enough, knowing that I was going to run out, to do the back, the sides, the stuff right next to the mimic, because I think it would have looked stranger if I hadn't gotten an entire side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so yes, that takes care of the grass tufts for me on mine with the fun little feature paint.
Yay!
But you can see it has that fun texture to it. And those grass tufts really will dry in. It makes it so much. It's just a really fun and quick way to kit bash your bases if you want to.
Yeah.
And I'll open and it close. And there's your mimic, folks.
Yay, mimic. And now I'm gonna have the Bardic Inspiration song in my head all day, and I'm okay with it. I'm a mimic. Pleased to meet you. I can actually sing that one because we own it.
We own it.
Yeah. Awesome. So we have a couple more minutes. Do you want to refresh what we are going to do next week for those who might have missed it earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you missed it before and you want to join us for the next couple weeks later.
Okay, wait a second.
Oh.
Urban Bohemian in chat says, that's okay. It's a tuft job.
But someone's got to do it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
No, it's totally cool. For that, it was worth being paused. So we're going to do the Treant from WizKids D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures line. We'll get this started up next week. We're going to have fun bringing out all this fantastic wood detail on this fellow. As well as the mushrooms and the mossy beard. And we're actually going to add like Spanish moss of our own using cotton balls of all things and that mod Podge Ultra. We should have fun with that one. And yeah, it's going to take us about 2 weeks to get it done, but it should be a lot of fun. So we have that going on. If you want to join us and paint this, you can easily go to your friendly local game store. Let them know you want the Treant. And you can also check out the supplies on our Discord.
Discord.gg/
I was going to say.
Champions. Yep.
Or if for some reason your local game store does not have this miniature, you can use the handy dandy code, which you can find in our chat by typing in !mini, and you'll get 10% off when you go shopping at dndmini.com, which is basically all things D&D miniatures from WizKids. Definitely go check that out if that's an option for you. And hopefully you can help us create an army of Treants. For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Just for funsies. We would just like everybody to have an excellently painted Treant.
Yes. Absolutely. So that is the plan for next week. Don't forget, we still have a champion you can work on getting this weekend. Valentine from the Black Dice Society. So if you haven't unlocked Valentine yet, you still have time, folks. Get on in there, log into your Idle Champions account, play through during, why am I blanking on, what was it? Bright Sword? No, not Bright Swords. What is the event name?
Oh,
Midsummer.
Are we in
Good Lord.
Midsummer, yes.
This is what happens when I'm living like 6 months in advance.
Yeah. We're all on to like 3 months from now, so.
Yeah. So for the Midsummer event, you can unlock Valentine as well as a couple other champions if you haven't gotten around to them yet. Check it out. Have some fun. We also have, don't we have something happening this weekend? What was this weekend?
This weekend, it's the last weekend of the event, and then it also is the, there's just the normal buffs
The usual
that are
weekend
coming
promo.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weekend promo stuff. Check your email. You should have gotten an email that talks about what the buffs to your champions are and gets you a code that you can use for a chest, free chest. So, hey, if you haven't signed up for a newsletter, sign up for a newsletter. I promise. And I'm saying this as the person who does the newsletters and does not like being a part of getting like tons and tons of newsletters. I promise we're not going to spam your inbox with newsletters. You'll get one a week, and it will always come with a chest code and some pretty good information. You might get one more a week if something else fun happens. I promise.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, chest codes. Hey.
Chest codes.
Very cool. Okay.
And now we got Garwar.
Then we got Garwar up next. Make sure you stick around, check it out. And yeah, this has been fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed our fun with mimics. Oh, Lauren, when are you going to name yours? Because, mine's Imichi.
I kind of want to name it Tuft.
Tuft. Okay. I'm here for it. Tuft. Tuft and Amici are going to say goodbye. Helen, of course, I'm sure she's going to try and do something somewhere, somehow for the treant. We'll see. Always. Anyways, we will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.